and I'll chair the meeting this morning. Fortunately, we some people away this time. I guess officially should note that we have Chad Horn on with us this morning. I wonder, Chad, if you want to now do an introduction. I know you introduced earlier, but now that we're online.
Sure. Good morning, everyone. I'm Chad Horn and recently been asked to take on the interim general manager for community services role. So I wanted to join this morning to introduce myself to everybody and meet everyone and find out the exciting things that you're working on.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us. So now I need confirmation of agenda. Mover and a seconder, please. Charlene is a mover and Francesca is seconder. And is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest? None disclosed. Request to speak. Members of the public wishing to provide input regarding an item on the agenda would have needed to pre-register with the committee secretary by emailing the clerk at newtecumseh.ca. So now on to the first item, a review of the summary report, and that would be Katie.
Yes, so your summary report, Carrie, sent out. Are there any questions that have come up from reviewing the summary report? And if not, I guess we will go ahead and accept it.
A mover and a seconder to accept the report. Mover Grace, seconder Miklos.
Yes, me.
Okay, thank you. We have no deputations or presentations or correspondence or information. Unfinished business, so we'll move on to new business. The 2024 Museum Summary Report, and back to Katie.
Thank you so much. So I guess this is a little bit confusing that I used summary report when we just mentioned the one from our last meeting. This is what I sent out in December to everyone that just has it's a final review of kind of a wrap up of what the museum did last year. So hopefully you had a chance to look that over. Some of the exciting highlights. We were up 23% with visitors last year compared to the year before. And I think this is a really positive trend because this is kind of before we've reinstituted programs. So this is just the general attendance growing every year or people using the building through rentals and other activities. So that is an encouraging trend to see. And then this just goes over a little bit of all of the areas of standards, exhibition, physical plant, things like that, because it is for our annual CMOG grant, our Community Museum Operating Grant that we receive every year. They like to have kind of a final wrap up for the year. So were there any questions or comments, anything that you wanted to discuss from that report? Anything that jumped out at you for good or bad? No? Okay. Well, it was a good year last year. It was kind of a year of transition, as you all know. We made some changes structurally to the culture department, and we were a little short-staffed last year, as you remember. But now we've ended the year with a great team at the museum, and we are busy getting ready for 2025. So if there's no questions or anyone wants to talk to that final report, we can move on, maybe, Leanna, to our next.
I had a question,
Oh,
and it was
great.
great news when we had a change for the communication for the museum and
Yes.
building on the logo. And I don't know if this falls into right now, but where we are in that process.
Yes. So we have had some exciting movement on our communications side. Our new communications officer, just as a bit of a background, worked at a museum for several years. So she really understands what we're asking for and what we're looking for. And there's been some really great changes. You'll see if you follow the town's social media accounts. There's new branding for each area with colors and templates. So the museum, you'll see it being identified separately from corporate communications, which, was something we had discussed previously, was a bit of an issue that everything kind of blended in together. So we're really excited to see this. Um, our logo, we've re-digitized or kind of freshened it up with some new colors. Um, so we haven't gone any further to discuss changing the logo. We just kind of updated it to fit in with this new color scheme that the communications department has suggested for us.
Thank you for the update. Do we need a motion for that report?
Yes, if we could just receive the verbal update from from staff, that would be great. Thank you.
Okay, mover and seconder. Nicholas and Grace. And now we'll move to 2025 budget discussions.
Yes, so actually, B can Carrie was just an extra. It's the same issue as E, and that was something that Councillor Biss brought forward. He wanted to speak to, but I guess as he's ill, we'll have to maybe wait until the next meeting to have him speak about budget.
Okay.
I could maybe bring you up to date, but also he asked to speak to it, so I'll just leave it to him.
That sounds good. On to museum e-newsletter.
Yes, so this is another thing that's very exciting. The town has decided to go forward with a few different newsletters, and one of the newsletters is specifically for the museum, which we have been, really trying to seek an outlet that was museum specific. So this e-newsletter is a great first start. Did anyone have a chance to see it? I sent out a letter before, and you can still sign up at the bottom of my signature. There's a link to the newsletter. It's on the website as well. And what I'd love to do is maybe connect with some of your communications departments that have been so helpful at sharing things. Perhaps they might encourage through social media for people to sign up for the e-newsletter. Yep. Miklos?
Yes, I'm just going to segue into this because I stopped by the office yesterday at the township at Edgedas, talked to our clerk, and the mayor was actually there. So anyhow, I will send you some email, copy Carrie on it, connecting you to our brand new communication officer, and we have commitment from them to put the events from the museum on 3 different platforms. One is our digital board on Highway 50. The other one is we have a quarterly newsletter that goes out from council to residents. It's a good old-fashioned paper and ink type of thing. So even older folks or folks who are not too computer friendly or they don't like computers, they will have access to it. And then we will also put this on our township Facebook and or LinkedIn sites. So
That's amazing.
I
Thank
think
you.
it will just hopefully provide us an extra little bit of a push and to get the name out and get the museum out there, a little more marketing. So
Oh, that's wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Yes, Grace.
So our communication is Jane Cochran. So I'm going to send you her information, and then you can link up with her.
Beautiful. Thank you so, so much. That is wonderful. The e-newsletter is going to be a really great way that, they're looking for clicks to the website with some action buttons. So there was a little bit about, preschool programs that are coming up and March break programs, PA day programs, things like that, that people can click to sign up. But we also, of course, being the museum, want to make sure that we're getting in some storytelling. So we're going to be sharing some stories from our collection. And I was just kind of overjoyed because I didn't know, how far our reach would get with our very first issue. But we had selected a pair of ice skates to highlight as an artifact spotlight. And the donor sent me an email to say she had seen the newsletter and saw that her skates were featured and she was delighted. And I just thought that it gave me goosebumps, because that's exactly what we're trying to do, is just to tell people's stories. So hopefully we'll be able to include a little bit more. There was a bit more about the museum being an army battalion, or like a drill hall and a recruitment center. And there was a little bit about cutting ice from Lake Simcoe. So we're going to try to, the stories are, we're going to try to sneak those little stories in. And have those going in addition to all of our advertising for programs and events and things like that. So hopefully we'll be able to build on the newsletter and see where we can go. But it is a really great way for people to stay connected with the museum, to see what's going on. So I appreciate any help you can provide to spread the word. We had a supporter reach out who is going to potentially write an article in some of the South Simcoe newspapers, and kind of spread the word that the museum has a newsletter, and that we want to get people to sign up and to stay in touch. Right now, we're looking at doing it every 2 months. But if we are able to work it into the work plan at work and get enough content, then maybe we would eventually move it to a monthly newsletter. But right now we'll do every 2 months and make sure that it's a really full and interesting thing for people to read.
Katie,
Mhm.
sorry if I may say something, if this is a time.
Of course.
So next month is Black History Month celebration.
Yes.
And I believe it will be a very excellent idea if we do something for Black History. I'm not sure what we can do, but we can share ideas. We
Yes.
can have, different storytelling sessions, as you were even mentioning. We can just, stuff showing like topics that discuss like Underground Railroad, just the history of Black Canadians and their contributions.
Of
Right?
course.
Because I'm sure there's a lot of, Black people in Simcoe, many. And for Black history, and to have the Museum on the Boyne, I think it will be a very good highlight and visibility too for the Museum on the Boyne, right? So I
Yes.
think we should capitalize on that, especially in February coming up.
Yes.
We might try to plan something at the end, because since it's so soon, we can maybe plan something for the ending, towards the ending of February.
Of February.
We all can, learn from each other and create ideas and come together and make this happen. But I think we should make it
Yes.
happen. And this way is that we're building, bridges, for a more inclusive future for everyone. So everybody
Yes.
like, oh, wow, Museum on the Block. Because I'm not sure if you guys have ever done anything. I don't know. Right. And I believe you guys are very open. It's just that, of course, when you don't have people at that table to share ideas or to, let you become
Yeah.
aware. So I'm glad that
Sure.
this group is very open,
Yes.
to inclusiveness, and that's why we're here. So that's something we're
Yes.
about.
I
If the group is okay with that, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yes, I appreciate that so much. We are definitely trying to expand our representation here of BIPOC communities. There's some really great groups in Simcoe that I want to make connections with to invite in. For Black History in the past, we've brought in some great traveling exhibits that go around Ontario, but it would be really nice to do some sort of an event for sure.
Katie, I met a young man, and I'm actually going to be getting him from my youth program. He does wildlife. He does presentation on wildlife, and I'm
Yes,
telling you, I think he would be a very, because everybody, it's for every age group. From so I asked him what are the age group. He said 3 to 93 attend my
amazing.
presentation. So it's for
Yeah,
everyone. So I can forward that contact because
that
I'm
would be
so
amazing.
excited to see his presentation, and I think that is something that we can maybe, because the work is already done. He has to just come in and do the presentation. We don't have to plan anything. We just invite the community.
Oh, yes, that would be wonderful if you wouldn't mind sharing his
Yeah.
contact information.
Yes.
Thank
I
you.
don't know
Yes,
him. I see it on the social, and I reached out to him and I said, hey, we need it for our youth because we're trying to bring our youth program back together with everyone. So we need
yes,
something like a presentation like that that's very interactive. So I think it
yes.
would be good. Yeah.
That sounds wonderful. I'm on board.
I
Yes.
actually know him. I think I even have his card, so I look for it and
Oh,
send it. Yeah.
great. That would be absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. We have I found this great company in Ontario, Ontario, or they're maybe in Montreal, but called Big Dreamers, and they do Canadian Black history workbooks and have the most amazing history and then little programs so that people can learn as well. So we've started selling them in the gift shop, and they're doing really well. So that's wonderful. Thank you so much for forwarding along that gentleman's contact, and we'll definitely be in touch with him. So with the e-newsletter, we're really just trying to, as I mentioned, grow our list, our newsletter list, and have as many people sign up for it as possible. I think before we went out, we were already, up to 107, and then we have surpassed that. So I'll have to get the latest numbers for you, and we'll keep seeing as that number grows. But it's just really exciting for us to have that little outlet to talk about the museum a little bit more. So I will stop chattering to you about the newsletter, but if you have anything you'd like to see specifically in it, we will, of course, be trying to spread the stories around to all of the communities to make sure that all of our communities get covered. And we'll make sure to highlight all the important stories that we can.
Thank you, Katie. It is a great newsletter and lots of ideas coming through. That's good too. And it kind of rolls into our next topic, which is 2025 events in our community.
Yes. So this is where I wanted to get your thoughts on there's so many events that go on in South Simcoe. And as you know, we're limited staff wise here at the museum, but we really would like to do a little bit more focus this year on outreach. So again, just letting people know that the museum is here, getting the newsletter information out there so they can sign up and follow the programs. So I was coming to you for your expertise on your specific communities. I know there are some great events that happen, but I wondered what you thought would be the most valuable if the museum could get to one or two events in your community this year. What would you recommend? And I know it might be hard because I'm sure, you have favorites for so many different groups. But I know, is like something in Bradford, like Soup Fest, or the Wingding in Innisfil. Anything along those lines that you think it would be worthwhile, the museum coming out as a booth with some marketing material to connect with people in your communities. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
So let me think, and I'll send you an email for Brad.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
that's true too. Yep, it doesn't have to be right this minute. If you want to think on it a little bit and send it by email, that works just as well.
I was gonna
But
suggest
we'll
that. That's a
we'll do
good idea to send a list to Katie of items that you are
sure.
yes, our library puts on something in, I think it's August or September. That would be a good event too. So
That would be perfect. Yes, we've
I'll follow up.
worked with the Angus Library several times, and that has been a great partnership. So, yeah,
Oh.
anything at a library would be a good connection. Any of your big community events, and we'll try to get out and get our face out there a little bit more. Yes.
I'm just curious, are you restricting these outreach or participating in major events to public places, or could it be a privately held function? So what I'm thinking and what I'm talking about is usually in the month of June. I'm not sure exactly what date, but for its second or third weekend, Sheldon Creek for Dairy. They put up a really cool open house. They do a fantastic job. They bring in a bunch of playground equipment and whatnot, and there's tons of people who come up there, not just from local, but also from the city. And I'm thinking Edgetas being predominantly the farmer or farming township and farming community in and around South Simcoe. Maybe that would be a great idea if I could talk to the owners and have you guys there with a booth or some sort of an exhibit to not just promote the museum, but perhaps the museum could do a little bit of a research or a little background work and then put something on for what the farming life could have looked like 100 years ago or whatever. And I'm sure those guys would love it because it ties right into what they're trying to do. They allow access to the cows, and so kids can roam around. I mean, so okay. So if that's
that would be wonderful. Thank you.
And then I'll get some other ideas on paper. Sorry.
Perfect. No, that's wonderful.
Geraldine?
I feel like I'm in grade school, when all these ideas are coming, you just can't hold them. All right. So you know what? So the DEI committee of the town of Bradford, we normally host events. So maybe we can have an event where we have Museum on the Boyne to come, like a Friday night, because usually like this Friday, we're having a big event. Right. So I know a lot of people will be there, different community groups, just to showcase what they do in their community. I know it's a last minute, so I'm sure definitely the museum won't be able to attend on Friday. But I think that's something that we can do to even bring more visibility to Museum on the Boyne, to see, what they do, what they offer, the services, and so forth. So maybe we can collab on that with the committee and so we showcase the Museum on the Boyne, because basically it's about giving it more visibility. So we can plan something as soon as you want. It doesn't matter. Just let us know. We can plan a Friday or whatever day works best for everyone. We book the library and we just have the Museum on the Boyne table set up with their banners. I don't know if you banner and and so forth. And I think that would be great.
Wonderful. Yes, this is perfect. This is exactly what I was hoping for. So thank you so much. And we'll look at our schedule this year and see what we can fit in. But I'd like to get out to a few spots for sure. And we will have a booth if you want to come out and see us at Winterfest in New Tecumseh in Alliston on February 1st. There's going to be an amazing big free event that has so many great activities, and the museum will have a booth there that day too. So hopefully we'll see a lot of people, I'm sure, from Angela and Essa come in to do events like that as well. So it'll be, really wonderful. And then I look forward to getting out into different areas of South Simcoe this year to let them know about the museum, because we have definitely had donations from all of our communities, but we want to make sure that everyone is aware that the museum is here and that we are here to protect their stories. And so the more awareness we can spread, the better for everybody. That is wonderful. So yes, if you all would take that away, think about it a little bit, and let me know. I'll do my best to be there with a smile on my face at every event that I can make it to this year.
Thank you, Katie. I think that comes kind of to the end of our agenda. Did anyone have any other items they wanted to bring up? Okay, that seems to be it. And did you have a date for our next meeting or not yet?
We have a May 28th at 10 a.m.
Okay.
Okay.
Marks their calendars. Oh, Miklos?
Yeah, just one thing, quick thing I remembered. I think on the last meeting we did briefly talk about possibly the museum or staff from the museum bring a deputation to us at council. So I don't know if you can swing this, Katie, but we have a council meeting coming up on the 11th of February.
Okay.
I was wondering if it doesn't have to be long, it doesn't have to be fancy. I think you just need to come and solicit us for a little more funding, for example, and a little more involvement. And the timing is not necessarily crucial, but we are just at the end of our budget cycle and just working on our operating budget. And so for that reason, I think it would be very, I guess, wise and strategically well placed if you could, or somebody from the museum could come and do this. I will send you the email address and contact to our clerk, and I'm pretty sure I think what's our deadline? You have time if you can send us notice within the next week or so. I think it will be well within the deadline. So
thank you. I will certainly speak to Chad about that. I had been kind of holding that one until our director was here for that guidance there. But now that Chad is in place, I will just speak to him about that and see if we can do the February 11th meeting.
Yeah, I think it would be, just like I said, strategically just the right timing, because if we don't, then still the deputation is very valid and valuable, but we might miss a whole year's worth of, I mean, we have money, but it's different if we go in the right time.
Sure. No, I appreciate that for sure. And I know Peter, our chair of this committee, had said he was eager to speak to councils as well. So we'll confer between the group of us and definitely get somebody out to talk. Thank you. That would be a really great opportunity.
And if you do decide to go ahead with this, or Peter will, or whoever will come to, let me know so that I have a bit of a head start.
Of course, we'll definitely connect with you to make sure that we've done everything and get on the agenda.
Excellent. Okay, great. Thank you. Thanks.
Carrie, you had your hand up.
Yes, I just wanted to mention, so in 2024, council did make a recommendation, and they did approve that the chair from the committee attend to your council meetings and perhaps in not so many words, but like solicit some funding. And some funding did come through for 2024, which was great. But as far as staff going in front of council, we would need to seek council approval for that. And I don't know how council would feel about that. So currently it would just have to be the chair that attends. Certainly anyone can attend for support of the museum and anything like that, but that is the role of Peter, and that is what council has approved. So I just wanted to, excuse me, make that clear. And again, if there's something else that you would like from staff, you can certainly request it from council, and we can go forward that way as well.
Yeah, and to me, and I appreciate that, and I respect that. To me, it doesn't really make a difference if it's Katie or Peter. No disrespect, but it's just if that's the rule, that's the rule. As long as he knows. So maybe what Katie could do, if it's permitted, I guess, by your council, for her to communicate this to Peter, so that between
sure.
the two of you can work it out and go from there. And my intention or my thinking, my logic is not necessarily just financial. I mean, that's obviously a large part of the
Right.
discussion and the life of the museum, but also just to give the museum a little more visibility within council, within the township. Perhaps have one of your brochures and whatever, if you have some, or flyers or newsletters with our board at reception. Like it's just to start expanding a little bit. Other than, I mean, I think this committee is great, but it's a relatively small group, and we all have our busy lives, both publicly as well, privately and professionally. So sometimes things we do miss. But I think if the committee through the chair starts going out to different councils, and not just Edge does, but so West Gwillimbury or whatever we have representation from, I think that will help you to be on the map for more people. That's all.
That's great.
And thank you,
Great suggestions.
Carrie, for the clarification.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think this brings us to the end of the meeting then. So I'll call for adjournment. Grace? Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Thank
everybody.
you. Bye.
Have a
I'll
great
be
day.
emailing you, Katie. Thank you.
Nice
Thank
meeting you
you,
all.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks
Bye,
for
Sharon.
joining
Take
us,
care.
Chad. Bye.
Katie,
Thanks,
check your
everybody.
email. I